Hello, we are here again. Momentum Mind First. We want to bring to you the concluding part of the last lecture we did when we talked about addition of vectors. Now we are going to discuss about two vectors again, but this time inclined at an angle that we call acute angle. You know, as a science student, you should know that an acute angle is an angle that's less than 90 degrees. To describe an acute angle, we say 0 is less than x and it's less than 90 degrees. This is an acute angle. So it means an angle between 1 degree and 89 degrees. Now let us see. This is one force. This is another one. And let's say this angle is 60 degrees. It still happens. The force is going like this, and that one's going like this. Let's call this 10, and let's call this 8. Now, how do you have these two vectors? You cannot use the way we did the parallel and the one at right angle. Here, we're going to apply cosine rule. How do I make that? If F1 is equal to 10 newtons, we assign F1 to this, and F2 we assign 8 newtons. So this is what you do. Use cosine rule that says the resultant force is equal to the square of this is equal to the square of this plus the square of F2, then minus 2F1 F2 cos theta, where theta is 60 degrees. Where theta is equal to 60 degrees. Now let's substitute all this into this formula. We said F, the resultant force here, is, what's our F1? 10. That is 10 squared plus our F2 is 8 squared, then minus 2 times F1, 10, times F2, 8, times cos 60 degrees. So, the square of the resultant force will be, this is 10 times 10, not 10 times 2. 10 in 2 places will give you 100 plus 8 in 2 places will give you 64. This is one arm of it, then minus 2 times 10 is 20. 20 times 8, that is 160 times cos 60 is 0.8660. Now let us check the calculator for that, for this part of it. We want to see what it will give us using a calculator. That's 160 times 0.8660. That is 138.56. So the square of resultant force will give you this plus this 164, then minus 138.56. Let's subtract them. 164. So the square of this will give us 25.44. But we want to find resultant force, not the square. So resultant force now, we have to cancel this, will be the square root of 25.44. Let us see what we have. 5.44. That gives us, that's equal to 5.04. That is the resultant force of these two vectors. That is, if it's at an acute angle. Now, let us look at what about if the angle is obtuse. That is between 90 and 180. We are going to apply the same formula. Two vectors inclined at an obtuse angle. That's 0 is less than 90 degrees, and this is less than 1. Sorry, 90 degrees x. This is 90 degrees. That's 180 degrees. But that's, you just note that this is between 91 degrees and 1 79 degrees. Now let us use the same angle now. The same forces, but a different angle. Let's say it now goes like this, and this is now, theta is now 120 degrees, but the forces are still 10, and this one is still 8. How do you solve this? You use the same formula, but something interesting will happen along here, and that is, we said the square of the resultant is f1 squared plus f2 squared minus 2f1 f2 then cos theta. Well, theta is 120 now, 120 degrees. So this will now give us fr squared. We give you f1 we said is 10, that is 10 squared plus f2 we said is 8 squared minus 2 times 10 times f2, or f2 is still 8 times, now what is cos 120? That's where the sink is. Cos 120 is minus 0.5. So that's the difference. We don't have fr squared will be 10 squared is 100 plus 8 squared is 64. This is here. Then minus, there's a minus here. So if you add all this together, you're going to get, multiply them, you get minus 80. Straight. We now have two minuses. Let's continue from there. So our fr, the square of the resultant force, will give you this plus this is 164. When you now see two negative signs, you add them together plus 80. That's where the difference is from the other one. So fr squared will give you, if you add this together, you get 244. So our fr, as usual, will be the square root of 244. And what do we have? We have, this is square root 244. That's this is equals to 15.62. So you see two forces. The same forces are inclined at different angles. At obtuse angle, we got 5.04, but at acute angle, this is the answer. But at obtuse angle, because the answer of this second part will be negative, you end up adding them together. Unlike here, where the answer here is positive. If cosine, if the angle here is not more than 90, is not more than 90, then this part will be positive so that you minus them. But once it goes beyond 90, the cosine here, whatever the figure here, that's over 90 will be minus sign. So at the end of the day, two minuses will join to give you a positive sign. Like I told you, Momentum Mind FS, we want to give you the best. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel. When you get there, if you any question you want to ask, put in the comment section. We'll see you next time out. Bye-bye.